You wake up before the sun. No mattress. No pillow. Just packed earth beneath your body and the sound of the camp stirring around you. You stand. Your feet are bare, shaped by decades of uneven ground, calloused like leather on the bottom and soft on top. You pick up a spear. Not because today is special. Because today is like every other day. For roughly 300,000 years, this was how your species started the morning. And here is what the bones tell us. Those people, your direct ancestors, were significantly stronger than you are. Not in the way a bodybuilder is strong. In a deeper, stranger, more structural way. The kind of strength that no gym membership can fully replicate. The kind your body was designed to accumulate not through training, but through living. So what exactly happened between then and now? Let's start with the bones themselves. When paleoanthropologist Brigitte Holt at the University of Massachusetts analyzed the skeletal remains of prehistoric Europeans, people who lived roughly 7,000 years ago, before farming had fully taken hold, she found something that stopped her team cold. Their leg bones were dramatically more robust than yours. The cross-sections were thicker. The cortical bone, the dense outer shell, was measurably denser. The muscle attachment sites were more pronounced, raised ridges and rough patches that form only when a large muscle anchors itself to a bone and pulls on it repeatedly for years. These weren't warriors or elite athletes. These were ordinary people. And their bones looked like they belonged to a different species. Researcher Colin Shaw at Cambridge University took this observation and tested it systematically. His team analyzed the cross-sections of tibiae, your shin bone, across human populations spanning thousands of years of prehistory. What they found was a consistent, measurable decline in bone strength. A straight line trending downward, tracking almost perfectly with the adoption of agriculture and then with sedentary, industrialized work. The further back you go, the stronger the bones. Here is why that matters. Bone is not static. It is a living tissue that constantly remodels itself in response to the mechanical forces placed on it. When you load a bone repeatedly, the bone responds by adding density, by thickening, by reinforcing the exact structures being stressed. When you remove that load, the bone does not maintain what it has. It regresses. Your body allocates resources toward what is needed and withdraws them from what isn't. Your ancestors never stopped loading their bones. Not because they were disciplined. Because they had no other option. David Raichlen at the University of Southern California has spent years studying the Hadza people of northern Tanzania, one of the last living communities that still follows a traditional hunter-gatherer lifestyle. What his team documented overturns almost every assumption we make about ancient activity. The Hadza are not simply more active than modern people. They move in fundamentally different patterns. They walk between 14,000 and 19,000 steps per day on average. They squat for extended periods throughout the day. They climb trees. They carry heavy loads across uneven terrain. They transition between rest, walking, jogging, and carrying dozens of times in a single day. Their resting postures, the positions they return to when not actively moving, are themselves muscularly demanding. They squat, they kneel, they sit cross-legged on the ground. There is no chair. There is no surface that does the work for them. Raichlen's team also found something remarkable in the Hadza's cardiovascular profiles and musculoskeletal data. Their bodies closely resemble those of trained endurance athletes. Not because they train. Because they live. Now let's reconstruct what an actual day looked like. You are a hunter-gatherer in sub-Saharan Africa. You wake at dawn on packed earth. The first acts of the morning involve crouching, squatting, and rising repeatedly, tending a fire, preparing food, checking on children. Each time you rise from the ground, your legs perform a movement almost identical to a weighted squat. Each time you crouch to tend the fire, your hip flexors, quadriceps, and core are loaded. You do this dozens of times before the sun is fully up. By mid-morning, you are walking. Not across flat pavement in cushioned shoes, but across varied terrain, loose soil, rocks, tree roots, dry grass, slopes. Every step requires your foot to read the ground and adjust in real time. Dozens of small intrinsic muscles in your foot fire with each stride. Your ankles stabilize constantly. Your arch acts as a spring, loading and releasing energy with each footfall. In barefoot walking on natural terrain, the muscles of the lower leg work continuously in ways that modern footwear has largely switched off. By midday, you are hunting. And here is where Daniel Lieberman's research at Harvard University becomes essential. Lieberman has studied persistence hunting, the ancient technique of tracking and pursuing prey at a steady pace over several hours, running the animal to heat exhaustion under a hot sun. It sounds impossible. It is not. It is how your ancestors secured food for tens of thousands of years. Humans are uniquely built for sustained distance running. Our upright posture distributes heat efficiently. Our sweat glands cool us better than almost any other mammal on Earth. Our Achilles tendons act as springs, returning energy with each stride. Our gluteal muscles, the largest muscles in the human body, evolved specifically for running, not walking. These are not general fitness features. They are specific adaptations for exactly this activity. Lieberman's fieldwork with living hunter-gatherer communities documented hunts that lasted hours, covering 20 to 35 kilometers, with the hunter arriving at the end less exhausted than the prey. Your ancestors didn't train for that. They were built by doing it. Then there was the carrying. Observations of hunter-gatherer communities consistently document adults transporting loads of 15 to 30 kilograms over significant distances, firewood, water, butchered game, sleeping infants. The muscles required for this, the trapezius, the rear deltoids, the erector spinae, the forearms, the core stabilizers, are precisely the muscles that modern strength training programs spend enormous effort trying to develop. Your ancestors developed them by going about their day. Now here is the counterintuitive part. Your ancestors were not stronger because they were superior. They were stronger because they were constrained. Their environment gave them no alternative. Every calorie required physical effort to obtain. Every comfortable night required labor to prepare. Strength wasn't a goal. It was a byproduct of survival. And that distinction matters because it means their strength was never compartmentalized. It wasn't 2 hours of effort followed by 22 hours of sitting. It was woven continuously into every waking hour, from the first movement of the morning to the collapse into sleep. Erik Trinkaus at Washington University in St. Louis has studied Neanderthal skeletons in extensive detail. What he found pushes this even further. Neanderthal bones show evidence of loading so intense and repetitive that modern humans rarely match it even in physically demanding labor. Bone asymmetry, where one arm is measurably denser and more robust than the other, points to years of forceful one-sided motion, the kind produced by sustained spear use or heavy-duty hide scraping beginning in childhood. Their muscle attachment sites are extreme. Their bones are thick and curved in ways that speak to lives of constant, heavy, repetitive physical effort. These were not superhumans. They carried the same basic muscular hardware you carry right now. The same fiber types. The same hormonal responses to mechanical load. The same capacity for bone remodeling. The blueprint is identical. What changed was the demand placed on it. Here is the modern mirror. Your body has not stopped responding to load. It still builds bone density when stressed. It still develops muscle when asked. It still adapts its cardiovascular system, its tendons, its proprioceptive nervous system in response to what you consistently require of it. The research on resistance training, on daily unstructured movement, on low-level sustained activity all confirms the same truth: your biology is waiting to be stronger. It is simply waiting for a reason. The difficulty is that your environment no longer provides that reason automatically. A modern life can be lived almost entirely without your body receiving a meaningful mechanical signal. Bed to car to desk to couch to bed. And the body, designed by evolution to interpret low demand as unnecessary resource expenditure, responds accordingly. It does not maintain strength that isn't being used. It withdraws. Your ancestors didn't have a fitness philosophy. They didn't count representatives, they didn't schedule rest days or think about progressive overload. They simply lived in a world that required everything their body had, every day, from the moment they could walk until the day they couldn't. You live in a world that requires almost nothing. You wake up in the morning. The alarm goes off. No packed earth beneath you. No spear beside you. No miles of terrain ahead of you before the first meal. Everything is already here. Everything is easy. Everything is designed to reduce the effort required to stay alive. That is an extraordinary thing. A genuine triumph of your species. But your bones don't know that yet.